Arron. You're going to go to Cuba with your wife and the Unshackled business owner. And I'll make the disclaimer right now that I'm actually in Arron's Unshackled business owner class, and it is awesome. If you have, he does it 4 times a year. Is that right, Arron?
Yeah, we do it. Yeah, several times as my schedule allow. We do it, but we're doing it right now.
Okay, so stay tuned for Arron, and we'll give you his contact information in the comments afterwards. But learn about the Unshackled business owner class, and it will really help you grow your business. So, Arron, you've told us what being an Unshackled business owner is, but what is the first step of becoming that Unshackled business owner? Because I was a little surprised when I started taking the class where you started.
Well, I always believe you begin with the end in mind. So you have to know, how do you define success? I was on the phone with somebody yesterday. They have that completed the class the last time around, and they've got a multi-million-dollar company that they've had for 20 years, and then they have this new business that they've started, and they really wanted to take the Unshackled Owner class for the launch of this new company. So anyway, we've gone through the class, and there's been another month or so since the class has been over. I was talking to the president of this company, one of the 2 owners, and she was saying, well, so from a marketing perspective, do you think we ought to, chase this channel or this channel or this channel? And I said, well, okay, let's go back to basics. How do you define success? Is it we want to sell this many products? We want to make this much money? We want to build a community. We want to get famous for this thing so we can launch a whole suite of other things. I mean, what is it you want? Because most people they know how to do something, and so they can get paid to do it, and they can have customers, but they don't ever make any progress. And the reason they don't make progress because they don't have an end goal in mind. So if you can start off at the very beginning by defining precisely what success would look like, what's the reason you're doing this, and how are you going to measure and define if you've accomplished it? When you can do that, then everything you're going to do from today to the finish line will make a lot more sense. Most people say, instead of saying I want to go from Portland, Oregon to New York City, go across the country, which I live in Portland and I love New York. So instead of saying I'm here and I want to go there, most people say I love driving in the car. I love traveling. And so I'm really good at traveling. And they travel a lot. They go all over the place. They take all kinds of circuitous routes, but they don't ever get to the destination, which was they want to go see a Broadway show. They never get there. And then they get upset because they never got there, but it's their own freaking fault because they never made a decision where they wanted to go. They just were like, I'm really good at driving my car. And so it's no wonder most businesses fail. They have no way of knowing where they're going. They're busy being busy, not busy getting to the finish line.
Okay, great. And I know when, and beginning with the end in mind was not the part that surprised me, but what did surprise me when he said, okay, here's your homework for this week. Write a vision statement.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have never heard a vision statement any place other than the network marketing industry. And I love the network marketing industry, but that's the only place and only training that I've ever received that information from. And of course, what was a little different about yours versus what they tell most folks in network marketing is it's, where do you want to be in 100 years from now? Put all your goals on this vision statement and go. But you have a more precise way of doing that. So you mind sharing that with us a little bit?
Sure. Well, the idea is, first of all, if you're looking 5, 7, 10 years down the road, I'm 52. I still have one child left at home. I have 2 little small grandchildren, a 3-year-old and a 2-month-old. So 10 years from now, my world's going to look a lot different. My 18-year-old's going to be 28. My grandkids are going to be in school and doing stuff. My wife and I are going to be in our 60s. how can I possibly know what the world's going to be like then? I mean, I love driving my automobile, yet I know 5 years from now, every major manufacturer is going to have autonomous cars with no steering wheel, no pedals. So how can I project out what it's going to be like to exist 10 years from now? That I don't know. The world is changing so fast. But if we say, look, where do you want to be 2-3 years from now? Let's set a pin there and say, if you could look ahead and if everything was working great 3 years from now, everything was just working perfectly, what would that look like? Exactly what would it look like? And then you need to build the vision in such a way that when you read it every morning and every night, and because it's only 1 page long, I want 1 page long vision statement. If you can write a vision statement that so clearly defines what it's like to be inside of your life 3 years from now, when it's working perfectly, so that when you read it, it takes you there, and your imagination is in that spot, in that perfect office, with those perfect clients, listening to that music, smelling those smells, making that money, having that experience. If you can do that, you'll put your subconscious to work. So your subconscious doesn't know the difference between real and imaginary. If you can live in your subconscious in that more perfect place, your subconscious, which is processing way more information than your conscious mind, exponentially more, your subconscious will start to push information forward into your consciousness that will get you to that place. But if you don't have that vision super, super clear, your subconscious can't work on it. If it's ambiguous, if it's fuzzy, it can't really work on something fuzzy. But if it's explicit, it will start to show you the steps you need to take to get to where you want to go. That's why you start with your vision statement. That's why you start to be explicit, exceedingly explicit about exactly what you want out of life. Reminds me of a poem.
I was waiting for that.
No, there's a poem that says, I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more, no matter how I begged at evening when counting my scanty store. For life is a just employer. It will give you what you ask. But once you've set the wages, then you must, fulfill the task. So I'm paraphrasing that. I what was it? I worked for meager's wages, only to learn dismayed any price I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid. So my point is, sorry, I didn't expect to give you that poem right now, but the point is, we often will work for we always work for what we believe we can get. But if you can set a different vision and believe in that vision, then life will give you more. And people always say, how do you start all these companies without raising outside money? I just look around and say, well, how much is it going to cost to do it? And to start, I need $250,000. Okay, well, I'm not going to take it out of my current lifestyle. So how am I going to get another $250,000 that's newfound money so that I can launch this thing? It forces you, when you ask hard questions and interesting questions, your subconscious loves that. It works on it, and then it tells you how to do it. And it's not magic. It's just using this thing that we've got inside of our skull here and using a little bit more of it based on thinking better thoughts, asking better questions. That's all it is.
Okay, now this is off base, but I really want to ask this question.
You want another poem? No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so you just made the comment, you need to ask yourself better questions.
Yeah.
Anthony Robbins says the quality of your life is based upon the quality of the questions you ask.
I think he got that from me.
I'm sure he did. And you should sue him for a copyright.
No. I appreciate him. I appreciate him building my brand. Thank you.
So here's the abstract question I want to ask. Okay, so we read our vision statement as if it has happened now, so it's February 2020, etc.
Yeah.
why, because the mind doesn't know the difference between the, real and
Imaginary. Yep.
imagined. And so, but why aren't we asking if the quality of our life is based upon the quality of our questions? Why aren't we taking those things that we desire in the vision statement and asking questions about those to get us there? And I don't know
Well,
if
you
you've ever
should be.
been asked
You
that.
should
That's
be.
just something that has been in my mind seriously for probably about 2 years now.
Well, well, that's exactly what you should be doing. And so maybe ask your question one more time and make sure I'm understanding your question.
Okay. In a vision statement, you're speaking as if
It happened.
You're asking questions. You're saying it's February 21st. I'm in my brand new home office, looking at the trees, the snow falling down, building a pond, etc.
Yep.
Why am I not saying, okay, how do I get that home office with the hickory cabinets and built-in bookshelves instead of visualizing that that's where I'm already at?
Okay. Good. Okay. So if all you're thinking about is the hickory cabinets in the new home office, and you're not thinking in your vision statement about I do this, I'm working with these kinds of clients. We're providing services, and we're charging these kinds of fees, and you're really describing how it is, as though not only where you're sitting, but if you're looking at your financial statements too. If you're looking, when I go to sleep at night, after I've cuddled my wife and I've said my prayers and I'm laying there and I'm trying to go to sleep, I'm seeing a bank statement with a certain number in it. I do that every night before I go to bed. I go to sleep. The last thing I'm thinking about is the amount of money that I want to have in my bank statement. Now, why? A good friend of mine, Bruno Serrato, who has this fabulous restaurant in Anaheim, California called the White House. It burned down a couple of nights ago. It's a classic place. I don't know if you've ever been there, but Bruno, I'm on his advisory board for his charity. And I love Bruno and I love what he does. And I've eaten at the restaurant many times and it burned down. Now, that could just wipe somebody out, right? But he's already visualizing what he's going to do next. He's already talking to us about how is he going to reinvent the White House, right? Because he didn't just think about showing up and making dinner every night for a lot of people and greeting his guests and so on. He's a guy who's always been thinking, what else can we do? What else can we do? What else can we do? And then chips away at it every day. That house that, if I don't know if you've ever been there to have dinner, but you nodded like you knew the place that I'm talking about.
I know the place, but I've never been there.
All right. So, but if you go there was a house, but now he'd built parking lots and he'd done special topiaries and he'd built this other building that they could have events out in front, and they'd put up different kinds of sort of Roman looking, he's an Italian guy, statues, and they'd created fountains, and they'd put in some astroturf in this one area where they could have outdoor events and where they'd bring in all this snow, and they have this whole winter party there in Anaheim. He had done all these things. He started with a house. And then he started making some money and said, how can we make it better? How can we make it better? How can we do more? How can we work on this channel and this channel and this channel? First you conquer one, then the next, then the next. So when you look at your vision statement, you say, okay, that's what I want. So now there are elements in that I need to get control over. So I'm going to start with this one and I'm going to get it done. And what did I tell you the first time we talked, Mark? You've got plenty of opportunity. Pick one and own that and be very successful with one, and then you can do the second one, but not until the first one's done.
Yeah.
Right? So every day we think about it. I'll give you another example. I'm going to build this. I bought this piece of property. It's an unprecedented place. I mean, it's just freaking amazing. It's never been for sale before. It's up on top of a mountain in an 1850s homestead. I was able to get this 28 acres, okay? It's at the top of the mountain, the highest place in 4 counties, and it was just a big overgrown mess. It had been logged years ago. It was all covered in blackberries and big old 6-foot across stumps and all this junk. But I said, okay, but look at that view, and I can see that there's enough place that we could build a cool house and a cool, a substantial sort of estate lot around it, and then we got the rest of 28 acres. But I can get 10 or 12 acres to look phenomenal. But everybody's like, why? I don't really get it. I don't really see it. But I saw it, right? So then what do we have to do? We've spent almost $100,000 now on not only getting the down payment on this $500,000 piece of property, but getting big machines in there, clearing stuff out, getting rid of stumps, having huge burn piles, getting permits, because the piles were huge. You had to have the fire department come up and check on stuff, improving the road going up there. All of it. We've spent tons of money, well into six figures, on just getting it where I can see it, right? And so now what do I do? Now I say, okay, I want to build a house, and it's not what can I afford. Here's what I want in the house. So we dream it up. We really think about it. We sleep on it. We talk about it. We wander the property. We have these, sanity checks. Do I really believe this? This is how you do your vision statement, Mark. I'm answering your question.
I know. And it's very good. I love it.
And then you go to the architect. So the next thing we're doing is we've had a preliminary meeting with the architect. Now we're going to go when I get back from Cuba in a couple of weeks, and we're going to go and we're going to start to not let him draw yet. We're going to lay out, this is the feeling. This is the kind of architectural things we want. This is the flow we want. Don't draw. Don't touch paper. Just listen. And we're going to explain it to him. And I'm going to let him marinate in that for a few weeks. And then we're going to say go. And I'm going to have to give him probably $10,000 up front to start to draw. Right? But at the end of it, and after a substantial expense of professional architectural custom drawings, probably $25,000 worth of drawings, then I'll have the picture of what I want. Then I need to have about $750,000 down to do the construction loan on the scope of this project. All right. Where I'm going to get that money? I don't know yet. I don't know, because it's not going to come out of my lifestyle. It's going to come out of new money. Right. So, but you understand what I'm saying? This is how you get to your place. So 3 years from now, I'll be living in that house on that mountain with that view, with that beautiful landscaped pool, pond, waterfall, all the stuff that's going to be on this phenomenal place. I mean, it's going to be freaking amazing. It'll be, it'll have probably 30-40% of it will be paid for, right? We'll have sold our house. We'll have reasonable payments to make on a new loan, and we'll start bringing people up there because it's such a magical place. We'll do events and we'll do stuff there. We'll do cool stuff. Both my wife's life coaching business and my corporate stuff I do. This will be an ideal place for high level meetings. But it all started by going, I wonder what's up on that mountain. I'm going to drive up there. I wonder if I can buy this. I had to buy a company that held the piece of property. You see what I'm saying? But it starts with going, what do I want? What's the vision? Where am I going to find? I've driven all over the place looking, finally found what I wanted. Wasn't for sale. I didn't find it on the RMLS. I had to go find it and then go get it. That's how you do it, brother. That's how you do it. You chip away at your dream till it's done.
I'm so glad I asked that question because I loved the answer. And I'm going to put you on the spot right now.
Okay.
I expect an invite in 3 years.
Come on up. You're invited right now. You can come watch them burn stumps if you want.
Okay. So here's the one big aha moment I had as I was walking through my vision statement.
Okay.
On that one. As a marketer, the very first thing I do when I sit down with a client is ask them, who is your ideal client? Who do you want to work with? And of course, 99.9% of them say, everyone needs what I have, which, everyone might need what they have, but that's not, not going to work. Because if you talk to the many, you talk to no one. But as I was going through the vision statement, I'm like, really, all I'm trying to do with these clients is get them to create a mini vision statement on who their ideal client is.
Exactly.
And I've never really correlated that was, writing down your ideal client was your vision statement because
it's a piece of it. It's a piece of the vision statement. Yeah.
Because I've never, in everyone that I've ever heard talk about a vision statement, I've never heard anyone say, describe your ideal client until I met you.
All right.
You know,
Good.
so that was a big plus there. There was I had a question. What was it going to be? Don't you love live TV?
I love it. Well, you want to come to the mountain, you want to come see it, and you want to. So yeah, what other kind? Well, ask me something else. I know a lot of. I love to talk.
I know, and I'm going to ask another question, because obviously we've got the vision statement, but you're going away for 2 weeks. I know that for one specific business that you own, you go in there like twice a year. So how, let's talk about team. Because obviously you're not just the solo guy running this business. And I know this was like an hour session in the class, but what are some key points to organizing and creating a team that you can engage and trust to where you can go away for 2 weeks without ever reading a text, email, or answering a phone call? Sure.
And actually you're going to, I know this is live today, and you're going to get a lot more of that in class number 7. But here's the thing. Most people are crummy at hiring and even worse at managing. And the reason is because most founders, or anybody that's in a management position, they have a tendency to want to hire people that they can control and that they can, explain how we do this and really kind of feel like they've got some authority, and so they can keep people under their thumb. They tend to treat people either like friends, like, hey, let's be buddies and let's really work on this together and let's blow this thing up together, or like a slave or like some kind of a indentured servant, both of which are bad ways to deal with your employees. The way I believe you work with people is you hire the very best people you possibly can afford that are really great at things that you're not good at. And I love this expression, you hire people, you work with people who play at the things that you have to work at, right? So these are people that play at things that are hard for you. So you get great people, and then you explain to them what your vision is and where we're going with this business, and then you let them operate. And then you have specific metrics that you're checking every single day so that you make sure that they're going in the right direction. And remember, they're not the visionary, they're not the founder. They came in because they're great at sales, or they're great at IT, or they're great at marketing, or they're great at writing, or they're great at engineering, or they're great at, baking pies, or whatever they do. So they might be way smarter than you on their topic, but they're not the visionary. They don't want to be in charge. But they do want you to let them have ideas and let them expand their ideas and let them fully realize that position to make it as cool as they can possibly make it. And the more you let them operate within the confines of the vision, the more you do that, the more they will love their position. They will follow you as a leader, because when they work with you, they feel empowered. And it's the main job of the founder should be 2 things. One is hold the big vision for the rest of the team of where are we going. We're going to New York. I know it's a long way. We're going down the Oregon Trail, and it's going to be 1,700 miles of difficulty. But when we get there, we're going to arrive at this beautiful place, right? And somebody had to keep holding that vision when people were sick, when people were dying, when there was snow, when there were rocks, when it was difficult. Somebody had to do that. That's the founder's job. The other thing the founders should do is do whatever they're great at. If that's to be a spokesman for the company, if that's to be the best customer service person, if that's to be the behind the scenes IT person, whatever is best, whatever that founder is best at doing, they should be doing what they're great at, and whatever they're weak on, let other people do it, and then hold the big vision. If you do that, you'll build a business. Isn't that funny? I have my do not interrupt on this, but my that's my 11 o'clock interview. So I better tell him.
No, it's 10:30 there, I believe.
Yeah, and anyway, sorry about that. How awkward.
No,
We're all
didn't
very
hear
popular.
here, so, but no, I appreciate that. And it's time to wrap this up, and I appreciate you being
Already? We're just getting into the fun stuff.
I know. We could go on for hours, you and I. Would you come back a second time?
Oh, of course, absolutely.
Okay, so, but I believe on one of your websites you have a free report.
Oh, okay, yeah. If you go to Arron, Aaron, Arron Scott Young, so it's just my full name, AarronScottYoung.com. Up at the top of the page, there's something that's called the Freedom Formula. So you're in the Unshackled Owner class. The class is built. It's 7 specific steps plus kind of a synopsis and what do we do now that we've got all this in place. But the 7 steps I boiled down into an acronym, Freedom. And the Freedom Formula is the exact steps. It's the very simplified but very specific way of that are for you to follow the plan, and you'd see exactly what I'm teaching. But you could take that formula and you can apply it in your own life right now to the best of your knowledge, and it will help you get a clear path towards building a business that works harder for you than you have to work for it.
Okay, great. And I will leave that web address in the comments as well.
Good.
For anyone to get.
Thanks.
And so that they Are you back?
Did I go away? You were in the mid-sentence and then you disappeared.
I think Blue Jeans is having some problems.
Well, we're glad we're here together. But you leave, yeah. I appreciate you leaving that URL in there.
Yeah. So, anything you'd like to, any parting thoughts you'd like to share?
I know this is about marketing. I have two thoughts as we walk out here, as we leave. One is most people that I meet, and I'm so glad they've got you as a mentor, Mark, but most people that I meet think marketing is about being super creative and super flowery in your writing and super awesome at, making graphics and so on. What I've learned is that marketing is all about math, right? It doesn't really matter how splashy your thing is. It only matters how you touch people and how you can get people to convert, how you can identify your ideal target and get them to convert into a phone call, a purchase, a subscription or whatever. So if you're out there and you're learning about marketing, I just want to suggest marketing is, from my experience with all my companies, it's all about the numbers. It's about the math more than it is about. So if you're not the most creative, but you're really good at understanding the numbers, you have a good future in marketing. That's the first thing. Second thing is, if you're entrepreneurial, I would just say you see the world different than your friends and family do. And you're going to have a lot of people who love you very much and who want to take care of you, who are going to say, oh, are you sure you want to do that? Or are you sure you want to risk that money? Or who's ever going to buy that thing? Or why would anybody watch, your Facebook Live TV show or whatever? But you've got to do the stuff that you see will change the world, will move the needle, because they don't see it. They don't see it. Entrepreneurs are a little fraction of the population, and they see the world differently. So my advice is, it's good to find somebody who's been down the road before you to have as a mentor or a coach. Mark, you've plugged into me for that reason for right now with growing your business. But for the most part, you need to be willing to say, thank you. I'm so grateful for your input. I really appreciate how much you love me. And then ignore them and just say, so what? Because they don't have the vision. Okay. Find a good coach, find a good mentor who can give you a reality check, who's been down the road before. But the rest of the people, thank them. Don't get mad at them. Don't get discouraged by them. love them, hug them, smile at them, kiss them on the forehead, and then ignore everything they have to say, because they don't see what you see. And so that's the hardest thing about entrepreneurship, is having the courage to go forward, even when those people around you who love you the most are trying to protect you, because they don't see where you're going. So go forward with intelligence, but with a lot of courage, and that's how you become successful. It's certainly how you become unshackled. Unshackled's all about having to have trust and faith in the systems you've built and the people you've employed.
Okay, great. Appreciate that. That was great. A great parting thought. And so again, Arron, thank you for being on the show today. I appreciate it so much. The information you shared with everyone is so valuable in our lives. And until next week, to your marketing success.